I should start purring like I did on Skate Pod.
Please don't.
Hey, Vader Rapina.
Hey, Vader Rapina, what's up, everybody? This is Ro. Yeah, we are live. I don't know. It seems like we haven't done this in a while, but we did do this last week. Oh, holy crap. Hold on a second. Hold on. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. I forgot to mute my YouTubes. How are you, General Shinobi?
Comfortable.
That's good. Before we start, regarding the Disney Plus skip recap button on the Kenobi show, I just want to say, Disney, how dare you?
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
What is up, Scuttlebutt Nation? Thank you very much for joining us tonight on Scarif Live. We're talking about Kenobi. We're talking about Star Wars. This is a wonderful time, as Brad would say, to be a nerd. We're going to miss Brad tonight. He has some family responsibilities. Talk about priorities. But yes, Brad is doing some cool stuff with family. And I am stuck with you, General Shinobi. What is happening?
What the hell, man? I am ready. I am so ready.
I heard you got notes. Very nice. Yes.
Doesn't happen often.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about Kenobi. We've got a couple of things too, because there are a lot of things coming out of Anaheim right now. This is obviously, we are knee deep in Star Wars Celebration news in Anaheim. And I'm very stoked. I've been working all weekend, and I've been kind of catching up here and there, seeing everybody's tweets on Twitter and social media. And, our boots on the ground, Megan, our friend Megan, is down there doing all sorts of wonderful stuff. And she was going to join us tonight, but she abandoned us because she'd rather spend time with Anthony Daniels.
Well,
go figure.
That's, a forgivable offense.
I guess so. And that's right. Science Fictionary. Andrew's down there too.
Andrew.
Yeah, all our friends are having a good time down there, watching panels and keeping the fort down. Andrew, I hope you took some Science Fictionary and Coruscant Radio Underground swag to kind of spread the love. I know I gave Megan some material, some Red 5 material, to be able to kind of spread the news out there. We are doing the Lord's work.
I was going to say spread it like herpes, but that works too.
Wow. Speaking of Megan, earlier today, I think she entered a Tales of the Jedi panel, which is really cool. I'm going to play her little review, which is really nice. Megan, who hopefully has been doing some interviewing of people and fans and stuff like that. We'll get to hear a lot of what she has to say. I guess when everything is over with. But here's what she had to say about Tales of the Jedi, the panel that happened a couple of hours ago, I think today. But let's check her out.
Just got out of the Tales of the Jedi panel, and it was just so fun from beginning to end. Just from some of the funny comments Dave made, such as being glad that we weren't talking spoilers, he could actually talk about stuff. And then eventually showing the full first episode, which I'm sure a bunch of you have already seen spoilers about on Twitter from various places. Then to the trailer for the rest of the season, which is just, wow, amazing. Bring it on. I cannot wait till it goes on YouTube so that I can not only watch it many times over, but also talk about it with the rest of you. You all, as usual, do not know what you're in for besides just sheer amazing awesomeness. Thank you, Dave, and again, bring it on.
That
You're the
is
cutest, Megan.
really cool, Megan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, she looks like she's having a lot of fun there.
I wish I were there.
Cool, very cool. So I know we're a couple of days into Star Wars Celebration. What are some of the things that that really got your juices flowing?
Unfortunately, like you, I've been moving. So these last
I've
couple
been
of days,
moving too.
yeah, it's been really hectic. So everything I've been living vicariously through Megan and listening to just reading all the comments in our Red 5 chat. But the Andor teaser trailer is obviously my biggest excitement. And then we just saw the leak for the Ahsoka series, so that got me
Yeah.
really jazzed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's I was on with Rogue One Radio last night and we talked a little bit about the Andor trailer. I'm gonna switch my
Yeah,
screen
thank you. Oh
here.
my God. I know, I wish I could have been on. Sorry, Steve.
Talking Star Wars, Shannon is asking about our thoughts on the Andor trailer. And just to do a quick little recap, what did you think of the Andor trailer?
I loved it. I mean, you and I were already excited for this show to begin with, but now actually having a visual, I'm even more excited. And as much as I think the production value is awesome on Kenobi, I think Andor looks even better. And I read, you sent us the link about the technology that's not being used for this show, and I'm looking for. It looks so much like Rogue One, and I loved how Rogue One looked.
Absolutely. Hey, Megan's in the chat. What's up, girl?
Megan!
Thank you very much for joining us. I know you are busy out there, boots on the ground. She wanted me to remind everyone, I guess. Let me put this up on screen. She wanted me to remind everyone who she met yesterday.
Yes.
And there you go. Megan and Dave Filoni himself.
No hat.
Very, very cool. No hat. Yeah, that's actually what my hair looks like when I don't do anything to it. So I might have to do some Dave Filoni cosplaying this Halloween.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But you know what? It's funny. I have a coworker that looks exactly like Dave Filoni.
Really?
We've been wanting to get a cowboy hat with him, and I'll follow him around with a camera. People will freak out.
Do it.
I'm going to do it. Excellent. Yes, Megan, thank you so much for hashtagging your adventures with Red 5 family. If you guys have seen, I've been tweeting and retweeting everything that she's been doing down there. She's having fun. Like I said, we're very excited for you and also a little jealous, but thank you so much.
Best correspondent ever.
Best correspondent ever. Absolutely. Let's see what else has gotten your goat Randy there in Anaheim. What other news? And it's funny, after yesterday I'm like, what else can they show? But I guess they answered my question. There's a lot of stuff coming up.
I did see a trailer for I'm sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me, I don't remember the name, but I guess it's for a game that's coming out. And I gotta say, the graphics are just stunning.
Rob and I talked about it on the Jedi Temple Archives. The sequel to Fallen Order.
That's what it was, yeah.
And I think it's called Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Or Survivor. Yeah, there you go. Dragon Buddy Jedi Survivor. Exactly. Absolutely. And speaking of Jedi Buddy, he is our guest tonight. Let's bring him out and then we can start our show. I don't want to go too over because I know everybody in the chat, you guys must head over to Dork Wars after we are done. Another one of our Red 5 family member pods. And let's bring in Dragon Buddy from the Escape Pod. Amigo, what is happening?
Hola.
Hola. Oh, you're so very international.
I am.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Quickly, I just want to say thank you guys in the chat for joining us on this Saturday night. We always do these Scarif Lives on Saturday night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. I've learned to kind of convert the 7 p.m. Eastern Central thing. It's only one number. It's
I don't know. You can't get this down.
the time zones. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna continue to rely on Kelly. So thank you very much,
Wow.
Lunar Girl. So who's in there? You got Dork Wars, the podcast. Remember to head on over there after we're done here. Charles from Conversations. Thank you very much, Charles. Our buddy Vader Rapina. Thank you very much. Obviously, we see Megan up there and Joker Voice. Hello, JV. Greetings and hail from Chicago to Las Vegas. All right. So what is the topic of the evening? We are talking about Kenobi. The first 2 episodes dropped. Actually, they dropped early. I was getting ready to go to bed on Friday. Thursday? Yeah, Friday.
Thursday night.
And Thursday night, I was going to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch the 2 episodes before the day started. And then I saw a random tweet claiming that it was going to be dropped earlier. So, see, this is where I needed the math.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like, okay, midnight, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
Forward, backward, carry the 2.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, our lovely Lunar Girl and I were playing, what is it, Sotar with Bravo, and I said, "Listen, I need a hard out at 11:30 because I had an alarm set for 2:15 in the morning."
Oh God.
So I could wake up and have some time to wake up. And then all of a sudden I saw the announcement and I said, guys, we got to stop. They're like, what? It's on at midnight. And then it didn't even drop at midnight. It dropped like at 11:55 or something.
Right. Yeah. Early on.
I'm really surprised the site
They're
didn't
like,
crash.
here you go.
Yeah.
And I was sound asleep. And Kelly was trying to wake me up. And I'm going, if I wake up now, I'll be up until 4. And then I'll fall back asleep and have to wake up at 6 and be very upset. Or I could just continue through until, the 4 a.m. as planned.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, so let's get down in the weeds, as they say. Earlier on, I teased the little quip about skipping the recap. I thought they did a really, really great job with recapping the events of the prequel trilogy, leading up to why we're here, which is really great. And I love the music. I had a work buddy of mine ask me if he had to watch Revenge of the Sith to understand this, and I really don't think so. They did a really good job recapping and telling you what you need to know right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom hasn't seen Revenge of the Sith and probably since it came out, and she rewatched it with me, and she said, "Oh my God," she's like, "this montage is so wonderful. They really give you a good synopsis of everything that went down in the prequels, so you can just kind of jump right into it."
Absolutely. Ryan, we are going to get to Obi-Wan's Bane because there's a lot there to unpack, but yeah, definitely. And then we get yet another Order 66 sequence. They keep reminding us that it was a very tragic event. Probably the most tragic in all of Star Wars. It's very poignant and immensely important, I guess, overall to the story of I guess the transfer of power between the old the Republic and just destroying the Jedi. What were you going to say?
Not only that, but I'm pretty sure Reva is probably one of those Padawans that was running.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There's definitely more than just the reminder. There was a purpose to that.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. So, hopefully we will get into a little bit of the backstory of Reva and her relationship with Obi-Wan. It seems like, she really is out for, I don't know, some sort of revenge, some sort of payback. So we're going to get to see, another aspect of some sort of story within that story arc that we obviously know through the prequels, but there's they're starting to slip some stuff in there, which is fine. Gives us a little bit more context going forward. So I'm okay with that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And
I can imagine that a surviving Jedi like her would probably, I can see why she would probably be a little bit bitter towards the man who probably, they
This is
feels
always
that you caused all of this, kind of thing. So I think she's bitter towards all of that.
And this has always been like a plausible gray area where,
Mhm.
Order 66 coming down and being able to wipe every single Jedi Padawan youngling off the map. Pretty much impossible. So there's plenty of room to play around within that scope of events to come up with some good storylines. It's where we got Cal Kestis from Fallen Order, and releasing that was one of the biggest things for me this weekend was seeing that coming. It's going to be next gen consoles, so it's top of the line, and it takes place right around now in Kenobi. It's about 5 years later in his timeline, so that puts us right about this time right now. 10 years later.
Yeah.
So, we're all coming together, man. They're bringing it all together.
Converging. Absolutely. Thank you, Dave, for reminding us. Please, if you're watching this and if you like, please hit the like button, smash it good, and hit subscribe. We're a couple of short of 10,000. We're probably 9,633 short of 10,000. But if you can do us a favor and hit the subscribe button, we'd appreciate it. Anyways.
Focusing on the wrong side of that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So then, after this montage, after the sequence, we get a little taste of where and what Obi-Wan is doing 10 years later. We obviously we open up and Obi-Wan is a broken character. We start to see, a lot of what he's going through mentally. And I know I won't mention, I'll mention this later, but, he's a broken character. We know, obviously, from the prequels, what happened and what his motivation is. He's hiding. He's on the down low. But what do you guys think? How do you think Deborah Chow kind of did this little sequence? I know there's a lot of repetition of his daily life. He goes to work, gets on the tram, goes home, gives that Brad knows the name of that creature, Iope.
Okay.
Gives
Iope.
Iope
Thank you. I was wondering what it was. It was so cute.
Watch with subtitles on. You catch so many small things through the whole thing.
I did actually. Yeah. Okay.
But getting back to a little bit of the environment, what do you guys think? Like technically, what do you notice? Do you guys notice anything on the streets of? And I'm thinking, the streets of Mos Eisley. I think that's where we're here.
That's where I think we are, and it gives you that feeling that it is a hive of scum and villainy. That this is a dirty place, as well as him working on butchering some sort of sand whale. But to see that repetition, I really respected that the way they presented that 10 years later, this is what he's doing. 10 years just working the grind,
going through the motions,
and realizing going into that he is out of touch with the Force. Which just brings you to Fallen Order. There's a good character in that where they really get into cutting herself off from the Force and what it does. And I mean, just to think about how you would lose all compassion and empathy, you would be affected. So I enjoyed the beginning scenes. It really set us up into what we know Mos Eisley to be, the dirty place that Tatooine is. They're the outer rim where the Empire is not supposed to be able to touch us. Kind of attitude.
I want to know how he didn't get caught constantly stealing those pieces of meat.
Oh yeah.
Right? Every day just
I couldn't help. I watched it twice and I kept thinking it. I was like, wow,
if somebody's watching it, you're getting caught. Yeah. Yeah.
But I did enjoy that, and again, that was something that my mom and I were discussing. In fact, she mentioned it without me saying anything, that she's like, I love how gritty it is. I love how dirty it looks. You see the dust swirling, and we loved the production value of the whole show.
Yeah. I'm going to touch a little bit on that because there has been a discussion in some of the chats that I'm part of. There's some folks that really don't like the look of Kenobi, and I'm really puzzled because it looks 10 times better than the Book of Boba Fett for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, there's a certain grain in the visuals, the film stock, and I know everything's shot digitally, but there's
Mhm.
something about Kenobi that definitely looks different
Mhm.
than
Yeah.
Book of Boba Fett. Book of
I
Boba Fett
agree.
really looks like it was shot on video, and the budgets were lower.
Right.
For whatever reason, and I know, COVID was still in effect, or the pandemic was really kind of in the hey-ho with
Mhm.
Kenobi too, because you see a lot of the early production stills and everybody's got masks on, and
Right.
that was still the
Right.
case with Book of Boba Fett. But
Mhm.
the look and feel of the Book of Boba Fett is a hell of a lot different than it is on Kenobi, and we are starting to see again visually, because we were treated to the trailer for Andor. It's
Mhm.
starting to ramp up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is definitely starting to ramp up, and the look and feel of these shows are slowly but surely reaching that level of this could be on the big screen.
Yeah. I was gonna
For
say the only way to describe this is Book of Boba Fett was network television. Kenobi is HBO. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
that's the difference here.
And as we
Yeah.
did some of that traveling,
Mhm.
you Book of Boba Fett failed to show you the scope of the galaxy far, far away. It was very
Right.
small, very felt boxed in. Where when
Mhm.
we open up into Kenobi, going through and especially into the second episode, that you felt like
Very
it was
well
much
drawn.
bigger.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
And I do agree, COVID must have affected because one of the things that I was going to bring up, which was my kind of theory also, was uh, everyone kind of noticed in Book of Boba Fett, there really like weren't any people living, in the town essentially, as to where now here you're looking at Kenobi, there was traffic, there were people everywhere, and
Tons of people.
it kind of distracts from actually focusing on the backgrounds. And I think Book of Boba Fett being so bare boned like that, it gave me more time to actually look at the surroundings and
Mhm.
kind of nitpick a little bit more. So I guess I'll have to give Boba Fett a bit of a pass if that's the case because of COVID, but they still failed for me in
Sure.
terms of a
yeah,
story.
Yeah.
that was also kind of one of you know many problems that Book of
Right,
Boba Fett had.
exactly. It's not
Sure.
just that. So
And early on, I think I'm not sure. I don't know if I tweeted it or if I mentioned it in one of our chats. It just totally looked like it was a different production team handling Book of Boba
completely.
Fett than these shows.
Definitely.
But yeah, we have a nice thread of conversation going in the chat regarding the communing with Qui-Gon and stuff like that. We'll get into there, but what's next? So we see Obi-Wan in his daily grind, cutting up some space sushi, and what else do we see? Then we see the introduction of the Inquisitors finally. I did get some complaints regarding not seeing enough aliens on the streets of Mos Eisley there, but I did watch it this morning. I did see some aliens.
Yeah.
There were some aliens in
Yeah.
there, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of background extras in those scenes. But let's get to the Inquisitors. Obviously, these are characters from the animation. I think we are starting to live in the Filoni verse.
Mhm.
He is now being able to bring in a lot more animation characters, as obviously we have seen in some of the leaked videos that are coming out of Anaheim right now that we are very excited over. But one of the things that obviously everybody noticed at the beginning when they saw some of the early trailers for Kenobi is the look and feel of the Grand Inquisitor. And my first viewing of Kenobi, I didn't mind him as much, and maybe because I got used to just the way he looks.
Mhm.
But I was really into the story, and I wanted to figure out what are they looking for, or who are they looking for. So I didn't mind the fact that he really didn't look like he jumped out of the animation per se. But did that bother you guys? Did that continue to bother you guys, or are you
No,
guys
not at
over it?
all. It didn't bother me even from the beginning. I had no problem. I always understand that, you can't, it's not going to be identical when you're jumping from
The
animation
the
to live
only
action.
I think the
Still
only
imposing.
issue is that that species has been live action.
Right.
Right.
So there is that, but it didn't really detract from me. I mean, who's to say they all look alike? That's
Yeah, I
that's kind of
mean,
one track minded
I'm
there.
of Cuban descent. We don't all look alike. Not all Cubans look alike. You can't do that. Not only that, but in the prequels, I'm taking into consideration that the creature that we're seeing in the prequels is not fighting, not doing anything.
It's not a cartoon.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
so
Animation is very exaggerated as
of
far as
course,
looks
always.
go. So I mean,
And
came
honestly, from
to
certain angles, it did look a little elongated. It just depended, how he was standing. And
Sure.
so I had
And
no
it
problem with it at
and it
all.
seems like they added a little bit of red glow to his eyes, which
I
made him a
noticed
little
that.
bit.
I think I kind of noticed the second watch through that
Mhm.
the more angry he got,
Oh,
or
okay.
the more
Oh,
intense,
okay.
it seemed to kind of you could see the veins in the face, the
Mhm,
darkness, and it
Yeah.
seemed like the eyes lit up a little more.
mhm. And
So
I'm completely fine with the actor too. I know a lot of people, again, wanted Jason Isaacs to do it because he was the voice, and I'm like, "Look, you can't always expect the voice actor to do the live action, so
Yeah.
get
I
over it."
like this actor. He was, yeah,
Oh, I
he
loved him.
was, yeah,
Yeah,
he's great
that was
in
great.
Homeland and
He
some other
was great in
stuff.
Homeland, yeah.
But yeah, totally good. What did you think of the relationship between all the Inquisitors in this scene? You have, we meet them all for the first time.
Mhm.
I guess all in live action, but Reva or Reva, she
Re
is, the first time we were seeing her, and they're calling her the third sister, I think
Mhm.
is what
Yes.
I think.
yes,
Obviously we've had the ninth sister and some other
second
sisters,
sister, yeah.
Right.
but what did you guys think of the relationship between the three? It sounds like they are doing some major infighting right off the bat.
Oh, yeah.
What do you guys think?
Honestly, there was a lot of infighting when it came
Mhm.
to the Inquisitors. So some of the dialogue was a little, I would say, weak.
Yeah.
But it still got across what that
Yeah.
their lust for power. They're
Mhm.
not Sith.
Mhm.
They're practices of the dark side, and so uh, it's something that I think is natural when it comes
Of
to
course.
them and their order. They were all vying for Vader's love.
Mhm.
Sure.
They have
So
different
Yeah.
goals and yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up a Joker voice comment here. Reva bucking the chain of command would not be tolerated. I think I'm gonna have to agree with that.
yeah,
I think the Grand Inquisitor, if I were the Grand Inquisitor, or if I were directing this, I think I would give the Inquisitors a little bit more power, a little bit more
Right.
conviction. I think if later on he has a nice little conversation with her. I guess this obviously is not her first time, but
Mhm.
during that second conversation on the other planet, and we'll get to it, he should have taken out his lightsaber and
Yeah, he needed to rein her in a little
yeah,
bit more. I agree.
I ended her. I would have ended her right then and
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Not just scold her, slap on the hand. I would have ended her. And I think Disney has a problem with going that route right away.
That heavy
Yeah,
violence.
right.
That
I
evil
think the
violence.
current culture that we're in, if they would have killed her off the bat, I think would have stirred up a lot of backlash, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what? It would be the loudest people on Twitter,
I
that get their voice,
understand,
that they get
but
their trends and they get their voice and stuff. But it's all in the storytelling. So
Mhm.
if you're telling that story that there is no disobedience is not tolerated,
right.
and this is how bad they are. They're not only hunting Jedi, but
Mhm.
they are dark Jedi. They
Right.
are
Right.
the opposite of a Jedi. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you were to do that, it would fit right in, and
Right.
it could very well be that Disney's gun shy as far as pulling the trigger on that evil tone.
Mhm.
Now, I do commend Disney for doing a couple of little things. Obviously we got a hand that gets chopped off, but that's kind of part of the course for Star Wars. Hands get chopped
Right.
off,
Yeah, but
right?
for Disney, my
Every
jaw
time
Yeah.
literally dropped. I mean, I
Yeah.
I was actually really shocked that
At this
Disney
point,
that
you know, we've
Disney
seen this a
allowed
couple
that. Yeah, I
times.
was shocked.
And then we got that one episode in Book of Boba Fett of the Mandalorian slicing a dude in half with a dark saber. That was kind of dark as well. The other thing too that I found very compelling from an evil standpoint is when the Inquisitors came back and finally caught that Jedi. He was hanging in the town square,
Yeah.
not as visually horrifying as a normal hanging would be. He was kind of up on his under his arms and stuff like that, but still a striking image.
Very.
And very reminiscent of something really, really tough to watch.
I
But
dug it.
yeah, I definitely dug it. What else is on your notes there, Shanti? Let's get to the next point here.
Oh, I wrote that Owen was savage. Oh my god.
Oh yeah,
That conversation between him and Kenobi after Kenobi dropped off the wings so that Luke could build,
his
little toy.
T16.
Yes, I was like, when he said that, I was like, damn.
I was ever since that first trailer dropped, I was really gung ho and really looking forward to the relationship between Kenobi and Owen. I think we're going to get a lot more. I think that's really going to be great to see. Because Owen's like, leave us alone. I think, we're going to get some really great insight into Owen, especially once we get to meet him, later on in life in New Hope. Why is he keeping Luke back so much? Why, he's sheltering Luke.
Right.
And, the fact that he tells Kenobi that, Anakin is dead. I wanted to clear some things up too, because there's a lot of people posting that that they weren't sure if Obi-Wan knew that Anakin turned into Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's general knowledge from the galaxy at whole who this Darth Vader person is.
Right.
There are also some books that relate kind of that message. There are people asking, like, who is this guy in the black cape that's the right-hand man to Palpatine and Tarkin? They don't know who he is. And obviously the fact that all the Jedi were killed, a lot of people just think that Anakin was killed along with everybody else.
Right.
So we'll get to some of those points at the end of our discussion here, because it really comes into play here at the end of the show. Which I think is emotionally powerful. So yeah, I don't think that that is general knowledge that that Anakin turned into Vader. But yeah, I think it's really cool. What else? We go from there to Obi-Wan again. We got some nice scenes of Obi-Wan, watching Luke on the on the homestead. And we're getting glimpse of Luke really not paying attention to Uncle Owen, and really daydreaming, being a kid, looking up to the stars, adventure, all the things that Yoda warned him about when he was younger, which is really cool. Then we get some very glorious wide shots of Alderaan, and I got to tell you, Alderaan looks beautiful. I love the fact that they're going back here. Let's dive into those scenes a little bit, and I'm going to start with Dragon Buddy. What'd you think of the introduction? And by the way, I want to remind everybody this is a heavy spoiler Scarif Live. We're all going to be, they're all going to be spoilers, spoilerific, because we're going to, watch it when it drops and then talk about it on Saturdays. But Dragon Buddy, what'd you think of the introduction of Alderaan? And we get Bail back, and one little Princess Leia. Let's talk about that.
Initial scenes, seeing Alderaan, beautiful. I mean, that's where you so just the complete opposite of Tatooine, and how dirty and everything here in Alderaan is clean and green and whites and blues, and then it hits that this is what turned into dust.
So sad.
In our first movie that started this adventure for most of us. So that alone was a big hit, to see how beautiful this place was. They're basically all politicians trying to make the world a better place. That's what it kind of comes off as. And seeing young Leia, I will say she did a great job of being a feisty, headstrong. This is our princess. This is the princess from Star Wars. Then A New Hope. This is her as a child. The unruly, the headstrong, the quick wit. This is it's great. And then seeing Bail Organa again was Jimmy Smits. Good stuff. Really fantastic. Exactly. Those were my initial thoughts. I think it was very neat to see that there's the comparison of the two. Luke is daydreaming about pod racing in the dirt, and Leia is being dressed up for these fancy functions and all these house parties, in order to become a junior senator and then a senator and make a difference in the galaxy. So very enjoyable.
Absolutely. I love that they're both adventurers, because you can tell she doesn't want that life either. She doesn't want that life. You can tell she wants to go off and explore things. That's why she's constantly running through the woods and getting into trouble. I loved how sassy she was. I saw your comment, Ro. I agree. The moment between her and Bail Organa, after she let her cousin have it, which was fully deserved, by the way. I just loved it. The little, pinky. It was just really touching. And
it really was.
And I agree. Seeing Jimmy Smits, that really just got me, because I was really happy when I saw him in the prequels, because I knew who he was and stuff from NYPD Blue. And
sure,
I don't know. It is a nice way to, connect everything to the prequels and have a better flow. And again, as DB said, seeing Alderaan, it holds so much more weight now when the planet gets blown up, and it just makes it that much sadder. And of course, for me, the biggest thing was getting a glimpse of C-3PO.
Yeah,
because I love 3PO.
And R2's in there.
And R2 is in there too.
Is he? Okay, I have to go back, because
you got to go back and watch.
I didn't notice.
It's not the same scene. It's the wider shot when everybody's leaving, and you see him in the center.
Yeah, he's down by like a cocktail table. He's in there.
But I did love everything about that, and I need a Lola.
Oh yeah,
I need Lola in my life.
That's a very well taken from Batteries Not Included.
Absolutely.
Totally, completely. Yes.
But, that one line alone, where I don't want to be a senator, and then that's what'll make you a good one.
That
was great. I love that line. Moment. I will say, I shouldn't have done this, but I was reading some of the worst reviews on IMDb, which I couldn't believe that people were giving it literally 1 star. And it really bothered me to see some people actually bashing this little actress. And I'm like, she's a
oh my God
girl. They're like, oh, she's such a preteen pain in the ass. And I'm like, have you seen the original trilogy? Do you know what Leia is about? I mean, this girl is
I will say that the little girl runs kind of funny, like Phoebe from Friends. Look at it again.
He's not wrong. And doesn't look up much when she's running too.
But
just about running.
I think she absolutely nailed the character. I think the directing on her, as little kids, they always say never work with children and animals. But I think she did great. Later on when she gets captured and kind of surprises Obi-Wan. I mean, it just her sassiness. I think
it got better.
Yeah, they really kind of strung that through her entire
when he said, we're farmers and you're my daughter, and she said under her breath, granddaughter, maybe. What? So funny. Oh, I love her. I wanted to hug her. She was so stinking cute, man.
and just coming back at him saying, you think you're
Oh,
hiding everything, and that
and
makes you less
seeing the
noticeable. It's
force
the other
already
way
working
around.
through her was just amazing, and the immense intuition that she had. That's why I loved when she laid into her cousin, because I was like, "You're already seeing the force
Right.
coming out." It was amazing to me. I loved
Yeah,
it.
she's got that intuition.
Mhm.
Let's you mentioned about laying into the cousin. The cousin said something kind of derogatory to her. You're not even a real Organa.
I wanted to.
Right.
Oh,
And I'm
man.
going to put up Charles's comment here because that really,
Good. That stung, man.
yeah.
Right.
But the again,
Exactly,
getting back to
Charles.
Bale's
Exactly.
conversation with her, love is thicker than blood, and obviously,
Yeah.
we play around with the whole Red Five family, but that's how I feel about
It's
you
true.
guys.
True.
And it just makes Bale's little discussion with Leia so heartfelt. It really
Yeah.
gets you in the feels, and you can tell that I remember reading an article behind the scenes of Rogue One when the little girl who plays somebody help me out with her character, Jyn Erso.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The little actress was related, kind of rehearsing and kind of being
Mhm.
with Galen, the actor that played Galen Erso. I mean, you
Right.
can tell that there's kind of like a little bit of a synergy there. So when they got into the scenes, they really played well together.
Right.
But Jimmy Smits is just wonderful in this, giving her that pep talk and telling her about family. It's like I said, it hits you in the feels all the way around.
Definitely.
And I'm really hoping that we get a lot more because obviously, Leia. There's a book, Bloodlines.
Mhm.
Actually, it's not Bloodlines. It's Leia, Princess of Alderaan, that really deals with Leia in the Junior Senate
Mhm.
and has a lot of details about her and her family, her mother and her father. And we see a little bit of this in the in the dining room area, where these other politicians are talking about lining their own pockets,
Right.
how the empire is helping them do that.
Yep.
And we're starting to see a little bit of that political machinations that the Organas want to kind of help fix.
Right.
They're talking
Everything.
about they're talking about
Slavery and
Mhm.
slavery and all that stuff.
slave
And we
labor.
know later on that Leia goes on diplomatic missions to kind of
Right.
help, people in need. So we're starting to get that. We're starting
Mhm.
to get that in live action, which I love. I was always a fan of the politics of Star Wars behind, in this
Mm.
era, because
Yes.
I think it's fascinating. I think the coming up of Palpatine to power always fascinated me. How he was able to, pull the wool over the Jedi and the council and stuff like that, and the Galactic Senate.
Right.
So we're starting to see a little bit of that here. And I did notice that on my second viewing, the outfit that Jimmy Smits had, it almost looked Imperial. And I know he is a member of the Imperial Senate, but it's very cool to kind of start to see those glimpses of
The change.
the
Change, right.
change between the Republic and the Empire
Transition.
and all
Right.
that transition stuff. It's
Yeah.
really fascinating to me.
I agree.
Definitely. Um, yeah, I think that's I think we saw a lot of that where even when we get into episode 2, that it's a stark difference between where we left off in Revenge of the Sith and where we are creeping into the original trilogy. That change, that's why I think I'm getting more and more excited about Andor coming
Mm-hmm.
as well,
Mhm.
because we're dealing with this time period of civil unrest and
Right.
people realizing that the switch to the Empire was the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
We're seeing that right now, and
Yeah.
I think it's done really well.
So do I. I agree.
Absolutely. So let's get into a little bit of the kidnapping stuff. We have
Mhm.
3 incapable adults
Bumbling idiots.
chasing this little girl through the forest. On the first watch, I was like, why can't they catch this girl?
I know.
She runs funny.
Right. It was a branch. You duck under the branch, you
Right.
idiot.
Yeah. But I
That was a
think
little slapstick when one of them ran into the branch. I was like, well, I could have done without that. Yeah, exactly.
But she's a little
Flea alert.
slippery, and
Yeah.
she's a little bit more nimble than the other three.
Right.
But Joker voice, mentions that I knew he looked familiar. Flea is the guy that finally captures her.
That's how he got her. He was
Kudos to my
Red Hot
mom for
Chili
knowing
Peppers.
exactly who that was. She was like, "Oh, I hate Flea." She loved it because he has that look already, and he just looks kind of villainous.
He
I
looks
loved it.
like a space junkie. Yes.
Oh, he totally does. He totally. And again, you see, now he was a good example because that was one of my biggest gripes about Boba Fett were these walk-on guest appearances,
sure.
and then they had like nothing else to do with anything. One of my two biggest bugaboos were Stephen Root and the guy who plays Machete. Oh my god! Why am I blanking all of a sudden? But Flea, at least, I was like, okay, good. He had a little bit of a larger, not a huge role, but I was like, okay, you saw him for more than one.
He had a purpose.
Scene. Thank you. He had a purpose, so I was okay with that, and it wasn't distracting. And he was good.
Yeah,
he was actually good.
Good.
So I had no problem with it.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't just a glorified cameo.
Right, exactly.
Right. Yeah,
Danny Trejo's got a rank.
Yeah, thank you, Danny Trejo. Yeah, it wasn't Robert Rodriguez just parading his friends through essentially.
Sure.
Sorry, Kelly.
So we get back to the subplot of Leia getting captured by these hoodlums. Obviously, let's backtrack a little bit because now Kenobi goes to his house and the space ring doorbell tells him that somebody's in the house.
Right.
It's Bail Organa. He's got a nice little speech there, and one of the things that I really want to point out is when he says she's as important as he is.
Right.
And that's really cool to hear. Obviously, the Skywalker twins, we spend all this time talking about Luke, but Leia is as important. And I'm glad that that this is kind of presenting that. Absolutely. Force of Light Entertainment, what's up? Thank you for joining us and stopping by. We are talking about Kenobi. Hello. Who else is anybody new?
Sith Care Bear.
Sith Care Bear. Josh, how you doing, Josh? Thank you so much. Who let him in? Cinnamon roll.
Cinnamon roll. The cinnamon roll.
But what did you guys think of the conversation he had with Obi-Wan? And Obi-Wan is like, I'm not the man you used to know.
Right. I think this is. I see a lot of people with a problem with where this went, where it's all about running around with Leia and for Leia. But I think logically this makes sense as far as the storyline goes. I saw Backyard TARDIS had said something in one of his pods or maybe a chat thread that this makes sense. Luke knows Ben Kenobi, old Ben, but I don't think they've had that real interaction to where I think you could play around a little bit with having Leia and it be the reason for Kenobi to leave Tatooine. Right. It'd be the reason for him to uncover himself. We already knew he was going to a different planet, Daiyu, from the trailers. So I think it was a good storyline. And then Bail coming to speak with Kenobi as a heartfelt message that, not only is this my daughter, but she, we had to take this on as of such importance to hide these children. Yeah, you're here. It seems like he's fine. Leia isn't. And,
right. Exactly.
And I'm going to put Joker Voice's comment on there. He says Kenobi should be Bail's last resort, not his first. I would disagree.
I disagree.
And I would say that his speech to Kenobi pretty much was a satisfying answer as to why I disagree. Bounty hunters making it all public would attract too much attention. Kenobi knows the importance of who this child is. And I think Kenobi definitely had to be his first choice.
And not only that, but if you are trying to draw Kenobi off of Tatooine to do what you do, what else could you
Exactly.
possibly have done to draw
Right.
him off the it was a great plot device in my personal
Right.
opinion.
And and he didn't say, okay, yeah, I'll go help her out.
No, there was a
It took a
struggle.
while.
He's
Yeah.
lost his hope. He's lost all hope.
Yeah. So I think, no, Joker, you're wrong. So there.
I think there's 3 of
Wow.
us that were in agreement here, so that's
Yeah, so,
simple math.
So, all right. So we have the kidnapping of little Leia, and she is captured by Flea and company. But yeah, we get this subplot of her capture, and it's all obviously motivated by Reva to draw Kenobi out.
Right.
There was a line somewhere in there that said that Reva looked at some Imperial files and kind of made some sort of connection between
I think she said the Jedi archives. I think that's what she said, that she had
Yeah.
found something.
we found the connection.
So it's very interesting that they're doing that. And again, getting back to her main motivation to why she hates Kenobi so much, I'm sure we'll find out what that is.
Right.
And Andrew, thank you very much for hanging out with us. Please have fun, celebrate responsibly, and may the force be with you heading back to Celebration. Thanks for stopping by. Tell Megan we said hello there.
Josh
We
is
got to
vacating.
be special. They put pause on for everything going on over there to visit with us for a little bit. So
yeah, absolutely.
thanks, guys.
What'd you say, Shanti?
I said Josh is exiting as well.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for stopping by.
See you, Josh.
Bye. Keep it classy.
So unceremoniously. See you.
Well, bye.
But yeah, that's one dynamic that I'm kind of curious to see, like what is up with you, Reva. Obviously she's a new character. We have not seen her before.
Right.
This is something new. But Dragon Buddy, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. There's some weird. It's funny. I talked to Kelly. I'm like, this is what I think. The opening with us focusing on those younglings running. I can't see how she's not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when the Grand Inquisitor says later on that you came to us later after living in the sewers. So she obviously tried to escape and then came on with them. And he also says, and it's because of your powers that you gain.
Right, your abilities.
Your where you gain rank and you gain favor. And she has that touch of Ben Kenobi, being able to pull thought out, what you're thinking. I can see what you're thinking. I can pull that thought from you. So I think that's really important on why she's able to get away with maybe more than I think would be allowed when it comes to the Inquisitors, because she has this specific ability. Honestly, I think we're heading towards maybe some sort of double cross going on, that she has more motives than just to gain favor with Vader. I think there might be something in there where she's doing it all for good, or for a selfish reason, that maybe she's trying to work something out to get to Vader and not just gain favor from Vader. That's a tricky slope, because I think you'd really have to pull off some good writing to really pass that off. So we'll see where we go.
Yeah,
I like
we'll
that
definitely
theory.
see. Yeah. I read somewhere that because she's a new character, and they obviously all 3 actors were doing this wonderful tour that they were talking about the show and promoting the show. I did hear a rumor that somehow, somewhere in here, Reva will be redeemed, and she'll go on and live her life away from the dark side, and somehow Obi-Wan will be able to do some sort of redemption arc with her. But yeah, we'll see. 2 episodes in, we got 4 left. Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, shout out to the director. I mean, I
Deborah
really
Chow.
I really like Deborah Chow and what she's doing here so far. So
Sure.
definite kudos to her.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I really didn't have a
I
lot of
it
complaints.
didn't have that cheap feel
Mm-mm.
that we got from Boba Fett, where there might be a little problem here and there with some of the shots. The running after a little girl and a bunch of bumbling idiots, but it wasn't, some shiny scooters running down the road, you know, with
Right.
the fast action shots going, 4 miles an hour. But
Did have
uh,
an issue with some of the parkour moves.
parkour,
Parkour!
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was
I made the
gratuitous.
joke she looked like a flying Walenda. I felt like I was watching a
I agree there.
circus.
It
It
was a
was a
little too
little that was
gratuitous.
a little too cheesy,
I would have
but
accepted the if she brought out her helicopter lightsaber.
Right?
does
Perfect opportunity.
she has it, right?
It's not a full
It's
circle,
not a
but
full, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
she's
That's what I
got
thought.
half an
Okay.
arch. And who knows, the other part of the lightsaber might come out on the other side.
Oh,
She
okay,
just
all
hasn't
right.
used it yet.
Right.
What else? Okay. We get into that. Oh, but not yet, not yet. When we get to right before, I'm going to skip the whole rescue thing. That was really great.
Mhm.
We get to the part where Obi-Wan infiltrates the meth lab. My son goes,
Kind of
"Oh,
looks like Breaking Bad.
yeah." My son goes, "Star Wars meth."
Right?
I'm like, "Yeah." So
I loved
when
how he
we,
used the spice. I thought that was
yeah, that was
genius. That was
perfect. That was
great.
perfect. Yeah, that's yeah, that was
And
good.
Giancarlo Esposito is somewhere in this universe,
Right. Yeah.
Locos Puyos making
Yeah.
some spice over there on
Absolutely.
Dayo.
It was
I
nice to see
wanted,
him fight. That was cool too. He's a
yeah,
little rusty,
a
but
little rusty, but absolutely. Speaking of rusty, obviously we mentioned the fact that Obi-Wan has kind of cut himself off from the Force,
Yeah.
and I think that goes along with something that somebody said early on. I think Joker Voice and Charles were arguing back in the chat regarding communing with Qui-Gon.
Mhm.
I think at some point, if you cut yourself off, you cut yourself off. That's what it
right,
Right.
means.
right.
Um, but it was really interesting because we get to a point where where little Leia starts to doubt Obi-Wan and really doubt who he is.
Mhm.
She starts to run away from him, and then the dinosaur bounty hunter and the droid bounty hunter are after them on the rooftops.
Mhm.
This
Yep.
is when Reva's doing the flying Walenda's stuff. But Leia runs away and she falls off the side of the building and holds on to that. And obviously, we know she doesn't die, but I think it was done so well, and it was still pretty exciting.
Right.
Um, she's holding on. The music was swelling. Ewan McGregor turns around and
Hmm.
tells her to hold on, but at that point, um, he has to rely on the Force
Mhm.
because it's important that she doesn't fall to her death.
Right.
And Obi-Wan knows this. Kudos again to Ewan McGregor. He's such a great actor. You can really see the struggle that he maintains as he's trying to use the Force and slowly bring her down and float her down and make sure she doesn't die.
Yeah.
And I think obviously that kind of narrative was needed for Leia to believe that he is who he says he was,
Right.
to continue with the rescue operation.
Right.
Which was really good. What did you guys think? We skipped over it for good reason, but what did you guys think of the comedic fake Jedi?
Okay.
Um,
I'm
and I
gonna
know.
defend him.
Okay, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say.
Okay. I'm gonna defend him. Again, it could be because I'm biased because I like the actor. But I agree maybe it could have been slightly toned down. And I'm wondering if it would have worked better had he been some sort of an alien-like creature instead of human. But again, he's a criminal. He's just like the Jawa. He's slick.
Mhm.
So I understood. And again, it has always been humor in Star Wars, and it's always been subtle. But yes, humor has always existed. So I personally
Right.
didn't have a problem with it, especially considering that he ended up helping in the end. And then I liked him even more. Do I think we might see him again? I'm not sure, but again, he's like a car salesman.
Mhm.
He's trying to rip people off, so I totally expect him to be kind of overly dramatic and kind
But
of a
he does have,
jokester.
but he does have a little heart because,
He does.
he's ripping
He's still
people off,
helping
but he's
people,
still
though.
helping them
Yeah.
for a price.
I'm
Yeah.
helping people. I like credits.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with him. I thought a little comedic relief was good. The fact that he's swindling people out of all these
Mhm.
credits, but in the end, still helping people.
Right.
Like
Sure.
he's getting a woman and her what seems to be force sensitive child off planet, so they
Mhm.
don't get caught. So I thought it was neat. It was funny that we see him and Kenobi's hanging out in the background, going, "This son of a."
I
Uh,
know. He's like,
Yeah.
like, come on, okay,
come on,
so
man.
let's play my game.
Yeah.
How much, and then it's, bull crap. So I thought it was good. And the fact that he redeems himself at the end of
At
the
the end,
episode was kind of cool. That he's still, you think when his sidekick comes in, the one that sends a Kenobi there, comes in, you think he's leaving to be,
Right.
going and getting this bounty, and
Mhm.
no, he left to go help this guy.
Yeah.
And
What's
so
surprising.
I thought that was pretty wild.
And
And
again, the subtle humor I liked when he walked away after guiding them and he went and shot the bunny like
Right.
another
One more
time.
time.
Like, let
Yeah.
me just make sure.
Just for kicks.
I like that
or
kind of
just when he
subtle
gets thrown,
organic humor.
he gets thrown against the wall. That's not magnets.
Yeah.
And that's why I
not
didn't have a
magnets.
problem with it, because of the 2 episodes collectively put together, there really are not many funny moments. I mean, other than Leia being a sassy pants, I mean,
Mhm.
the banter between Obi-Wan and the Jawa, and then Kumail's character, I mean, that's really about it. I mean,
Yeah.
everything else was very
Right.
serious, which was actually my biggest, I will admit, those couple of weeks before the show premiered, I was very worried because of all the kind of different news and things that was coming out. Oh, the script was much bleaker. It got thrown out and this and that.
They
So
rewrote the
I
whole
was
thing.
worried. I was very worried. And then, of course, the same joke as Boba Fett. Oh, we're only going to get Obi-Wan in one episode and that'll be
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
But and I think that's why I have loved these 2 episodes so much,
Yeah.
because it still is serious. It is still
Sure.
dark. And I'm glad they played it that way, because it should be. Obi-Wan is literally suffering from PTSD and he's broken.
Right.
Mhm.
And to answer Joker with the show having no stakes, we know Luke, Leia, Vader, Owen, Beru, Kenobi all survive. But I think if we can write the adventures that go on, we're still on the edge of our seat
Yeah.
to see what's going on. I mean, we're bringing the Inquisitors into this, which was never part of the original trilogy.
Right.
And only really came about through the animation,
Right.
as far as us getting it in our timelines now. So I think if so far it's been done right, especially when it comes to Reva coming into the warehouse that Kenobi's hiding in, and he's behind the boxes and she's searching for him, and breaks that line, breaks that info, where as far as he knows, he chopped up and left Anakin for dead.
Mhm.
And to not just say that, but he's alive. And I give it to Ewan McGregor to see
Yeah.
the first the
emotion.
shock,
Yeah.
and then the emotion, the sadness, and then the realization of these 2 people are the same. These,
Yeah.
he is Vader, Anakin is Vader, and we're seeing that connection that was left open in the original trilogy of Vader saying, you shouldn't have come back.
Right. Right.
When he's giving him the line of, I was but the learner, he does say you shouldn't have come back.
Mhm.
And that left it open to where obviously there was something else that happened in
Right.
Sure.
between
Right.
him, leaving him for some Mustafar barbecue and meeting him on the Death Star.
I mean, I definitely have no problem with exploring this, even though we know how it all ends. I mean, I loved Rogue One, but we know the Death Star gets blown up in A New Hope, but still it was interesting to see
Sure.
how they did get the plans, how they did
Yeah.
transmit it to Leia. So and you could make the same argument about the prequels. We already know what happens and how it all ends, but yet there is something about filling in those gaps and seeing how things progressed and how we got to this point that I personally don't have a problem with it at
Sure.
all.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Let's get to talk a little bit about the elephant in the room. Something that on the surface level seems to change some canon that we already know from Rebels regarding the demise of the Grand Inquisitor. But I have a theory. But what did you guys think? Riva finally took lightsaber to gut and exerted her authority over the Grand Inquisitor to stop him from demeaning her. There's a nice little conversation there that happens, but lightsaber in the gut. I have a theory because I think I'll ask you real fast, but let me ask you guys first
You
before I
okay?
go into my theory
Right.
regarding that. And I know, sometimes you hear these creatives say, it's canon until I don't make it canon. And I
Right.
know they have this ability to kind of shuffle some storyboards around and things like that. And I did hear the whole thing about the species has two stomachs. Um, I think,
That
that
makes it plausible then.
it makes it plausible, but it's a little goofy. But I'm gonna like my theory more, and I'll explain a little bit because it has to do with tying in the rebels line that he says. But what Shanti, what do you think about him dying? Obviously, nowadays because of the back to tank, no one in Star Wars really dies. But
Right.
what do you think?
Like Days of Our Lives, man. Everyone comes back.
Right.
Would you like my
As their
initial
twin.
reaction?
Yeah.
Okay. My initial reaction first was like, well, oh my God. My second reaction was I started to wonder, is this truly the same Inquisitor that we see in Rebels? I don't know why that immediately popped into my head. And in speaking to one of my friends today, they had a theory that maybe the one that we're seeing in Rebels could be a clone of what we're seeing in Kenobi. Then my next thing was, which is what I responded to on Twitter, was, well, Fennec got modded, Luke got modded with his hand. It's not impossible that they got to him quickly enough and modded him, and he's alive. So who knows? And then I think there was another theory that I saw floated around that I guess the species itself, so not the stomach thing, but something about the way they handle death, or they, not that they can't really die, but I can't remember what it was that they said. But that's it. I don't want it to be cloning. I agree with you, Joker. That would be just lazy
Yeah,
writing.
that would, yeah, absolutely.
But I would say he probably got modded. That would be my guess. Especially after they went through the trouble of showing us the whole Mod Squad montage in Book of Boba Fett. So now it does kind of beg the question, well, maybe that's what happened. Why else would they show that?
Sure. Dragon Buddy, what about you?
Right. I first like Kelly and I were watching together, and she's like, that can't happen because of Rebels. And I said, no. Yeah, this was the first time. This was in the morning for the first time. She was awake for that one. She just woke up late. That's all. But she's like, he can't hide. And I'm like, no, this is after. And doing math, realizing, no, I'm wrong. He's not dead. I think everything together now, video game platforms, the comics, the TV shows, the movies, we're all coming into these same time frames. Filoni would, and playing it off as another Grand Inquisitor of the same race, same species, or a clone that's just a lazy way to get your point across with Riva, being able to kill the top guy because, for whatever reasons that she wants to gain favor with Vader. So I was trying to think of the theory that is there's something else besides the stomachs and stuff, and I can't find it. I had it, but there was when he at first it was in the chest, he's over, and then when I watched the second time, it's clearly below his chest plate that he's getting hit. So Fennec right there alone says that we could survive gut shots. There are plenty of back to tanks apparently on all these different planets. So
I know. I agree. I agree with Trevor Beast. Yeah, I agree with Trevor Beast. You were always been I've always been given this impression that if you get struck by a lightsaber like that, like you're done. You know what I mean? So it is a
Han
little
Solo.
well now I'm sad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So, all I can say is have
Uh,
patience, please.
Sure.
It's only the
Yeah.
second episode. Please don't write
Yeah.
it off already. I know that there's a lot of confusion, but as always,
I was surprised.
you're gonna see some
Yeah.
hate too. Like, and I really hope that people haven't dropped
There,
off
there was real.
just because of
I mean,
that. Like,
I always call it Twitter hate.
yeah,
Twitter hate, yeah.
just
There was a
So
lot of
keep
that coming,
watching.
more than I
Yeah.
thought.
yeah, and I know, Tina had mentioned something that he said when he died in Rebels. I do think that the fifth brother is going to get him, and he's going to have a conversation. The Grand Inquisitor is going to be brought back, obviously. He's going to have a conversation with Vader, and Vader's going to tell him, don't fail again. If you fail,
Right.
you will know the new meaning of suffering.
Right.
And those are words not to be taken lightly when Vader says that to you.
Yeah.
So I think, that'll kind of make, I guess, make his line, there are fates worse than death, mean a little bit more
Right.
if they do connect in that way. And I think if they do, man, Dave Filoni, he's been planning this for how many years? Holy
Yeah.
crap.
That's why I don't see him allowing that to happen to go
Me
into late
too.
writing
I
to
think
get
everyone
the
needs to just
same.
wait. Right.
Yeah.
To answer, Joker brought it up, and that's one of the biggest Twitter problems that I've seen going through was the Qui-Gon Jinn. When we leave, even in the montage in the beginning, we leave off with Yoda telling Obi-Wan that I have some training for you to do. But at the same time, Obi-Wan is trying to disconnect himself from the Force because he's trying to protect that child. And I think so fresh after the events of Revenge of the Sith and fleeing with the child at Tatooine, he would have to go dark. And I think he would avoid doing that at least right away, only because I think he would realize that maybe reaching out and touching the Force would pluck something somewhere in the galaxy to draw attention to himself.
I like that. What are you doing, man? We're in the middle of a stream.
Stuff and things.
Some
Ew.
grabbing. I want to get prepared for our giveaway.
Ooh.
And this is for the chat. But yeah, I mean, 2 episodes in, I think, again, just kind of a quick recap. I think the show looks phenomenal. I think, Ewan McGregor is doing great. I think that moment between Ewan and when it almost seems like he calls Anakin, and then obviously we cut to Anakin in the back to tank, and it's almost like when Luke called out to Vader in The Empire Strikes Back, and they started to communicate through the Force. I think if ever there was an awakening in the Force, I think that was the moment for these two characters, to kind of realize that they are they are alive. So I think that was a great and fascinating move.
The cut to it, and just the way it happened, I loved the transition. Just cutting right to it is awesome, dramatic.
It was a cut to Luke and Bespin hanging out and reaching out to Leia. It's Kenobi being cut off from the Force for 10 years and then finally touching it, and then all of that emotion behind Anakin. Basically, you just dialed his number.
Sure.
And he felt it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wild.
Very good. So we got 4 episodes left. And again, I want to remind everybody after we're done here, head on over to Dork Wars Podcast. Blake has been so gracious enough to allow me to go over into his time slot. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
How dare you?
But I want to ask everyone in the chat, please. This is for a giveaway. And should I give this one away? I think I will. It is Luke
Aw.
Skywalker with Grogu.
Oh,
cute.
nice. That's a good one.
That is a good one. Very cute.
Are you guys ready for the question?
Yes.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
It's so
Oh,
adorable.
nice.
That's adorable. Who wants a pop? Who wants a pop?
I would like to see the baby.
All right. He's right there. There's the baby.
Thank you.
We haven't done an actual giveaway in a while. All right, here we go. In the opening of Kenobi, right after the Lucasfilm logo, where you have all the characters pop up on screen, the 3D images of the characters for the opening, who is the last character to show up? First person in the chat gets the right answer. We'll get
I answered
this.
first. I want it on record. I answered first.
It is
Do you want me
not-
to do?
Oh, look at that.
Was it? I don't remember. I thought it was.
Wow.
Oh, you know what? I got it confused with the flashback.
Very nice.
Lunar Girl and I had a conversation about this very thing.
And you know what's cool? My other question is, who is the third character?
Jeez. Oh God.
But I already see a winner in the chat. But who is the third character? I love that they put a mouse droid in that sequence. Right. Isn't that cool?
That was neat.
Yeah. So let's go here. You were close. When you said Anakin, you were close, but
Anakin doesn't wear a helmet.
I was thinking of the end of his PTSD moment when he sees the younger Anakin.
Right. But it is Darth Vader. Let's see. Yeah, Anakin, General Shinobi.
I have LG as.
Yeah, Lunar Girl said Vader first before Joker voice. But yeah, you guys are right. It's Vader.
Good stuff.
Congrats.
Lunar Girl gets Yoda.
She gets all the Grogus.
All the little Grogus.
Good. I'm glad. Good.
She deserves.
That one she does not have.
She deserves the Grogus. She
does.
All the Grogus.
Excellent. Well, any final thoughts on the first two episodes of Kenobi as we wrap up here?
Very happy so far. I liked it. Minor, I can see some minor things here or there, but I think we can go right past them. I'm more than just hopeful for it. So, yeah, good stuff so far.
Absolutely.
I'm in love. It got me all up in my feels. I agree with my mom. It felt, it really is tying everything in. So I don't know. I absolutely loved it. And I can't wait to see how this is all going to wrap up. Again, not a fan of these 6-episode arcs, but I hate that they dropped 2 for us to now only have 4 more, but it's fine. I'm loving what
I'd rather it be 6 good episodes than 12
obviously.
down.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And is this really going to be a 1-season thing?
Well, right now it is a 1-season thing,
Yeah.
but Ewan McGregor has said, I'd love to do, more with this series. So we'll see what happens. I think, obviously at this point, I think they've tied up this series story-wise. If they can find a way to go back and tell more stories, I think that, that would be cool. Yeah. Tina, you're going to have to remind me about the artwork that you won. I know I'm really bad at keeping track of this stuff, but if you could remind me, Tina, hit me in a direct message. I was going to say hit me in the DM, and it always sounds weird.
Oh, you both in the DM. Oh, I got kicked right in the DM.
Excellent. No shenanigans here, Joker Voice. I just go by the list of people that answer first. But thank you so much. Remember, guys, head on over to Dork Wars after Scarif Live. Let's go around the table and find out where people can find you. Shanti,
What?
where can people find you?
All right.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Selena Kyle29. And thank you very much, DB, for coming on. And I will be heading
Yes.
over to Dork Wars with your wife.
Yeah.
I get both of you tonight. Yeah.
Very nice.
Double head.
Dragon Buddy, where can folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at dragon_bud with 2 D's. You can also find me on Twitch, dragonbud8, the number 8, and ATSW, the Escape Pod. Look it up, bio.link/ATSW, the Escape Pod.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. In the chat, everybody in the chat, Kelly, this is going in a box, and I'm going to send this out to you real soon. If you guys have any thoughts on our discussion tonight, email us at scarifscuttlebutt@gmail.com, or we'd love to hear your thoughts on how we are doing with these Scarif Lives. Shoot us a voicemail at 773-234-8659. That is the Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline. And we're going to see everybody at ScarifCon this year, July 23rd. Don't miss the celebration. We got a whole bunch of Red 5 and friends of Red 5 that are heading out to Murray's Caddy Shack in Rosemont, Illinois. And I want to make sure that if you do head out to Rosemont, to make sure that you hit up Dominic for one of these.
Love mine.
Geeky Tikis,
Yes.
which are really, really fantastic.
Really beautiful.
He'll have some for sale on there. You can get some deals. Pick up one for you and one for your significant other. It is romantic, damn it.
Right.
This is Ro. Next week, we're going to have another special guest on Scarif Live to talk about Kenobi. And every week thereafter. Hopefully Brad will join us for that one as well. Can't wait to talk to all you guys as more news starts to come out. Megan, thank you very much for all the efforts you are coming. She's going to be dropping some interviews, and we'll be using those throughout the shows next week. That's about it. Follow us wherever you get your other favorite podcasts, Scarif Podcasts, wherever podcasts are available, or follow us at Red 5 Network. We've got a whole bunch of Red 5 Network shows on the bio link. So it's bio.link/Red5. Check them all out. Over how many are we now?
30.
37.
37.
57, 77, order
66.
66.
Hey,
There you go.
James.
All the pods.
Excellent. So
All the
yeah,
good pods.
all the good pods are hashtag Red5Family. Check them out. Look for the hashtag. Interact with all of us. This is what we do, and we love talking to you guys. Thank you very much to all our patrons for your support of the Red 5 family. We love you, and this is Ro signing off. That is the Scuttlebutt. Talk to you guys later. May the force be with you.